Well, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Prestige Culture Dynamics. I just saw this new Superman movie on Thursday on the opening day it released, and I was inspired to do another video about it. Well, not just about the movie, but Superman as a whole. In this video, I plan to rank all the Superman movies that have been released. I'm gonna start with the one that I think is the worst. Then I'm gonna work up to the one that I think is the best. All right, guys, let's get ready and view it right now. Coming into this list at number 7, we have, unfortunately, Superman 4: The Quest for Suck. Ugh. Well, for this video, we'll say Superman 4: The Quest for Suck, even though it's Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. Where do I even begin with this? This is by far the most god-awful Superman movie I have ever seen. Like, it is so horrendous, and, like, it's offensive to common sense. Like, oh my god, like, how that movie even happened is beyond me. But I do know the history about it, from where Canon bought the rights from the Salkinds, who produced the first 3 Superman movies. But this film company called Canon, they bought the rights to Superman, and they didn't have any budget whatsoever to go with it. Like, here's an example of one of Canon's films. They made a movie about arm wrestling. I'm not joking. A movie about arm wrestling. Like, oh my god, this movie is so awful. Like, I just feel so bad for Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder. And, like, the story behind this movie, it's so awful. Everything from the very beginning. They had Christopher Reeve, who was given a producer credit and had story approval, and yeah, and he wanted to make the film about something that he felt very passionate about, which is getting rid of nukes, and the story itself like Nuclear Man. In this movie, Lex Luthor takes a strand of Superman's hair and then launches it to the sun, and then it comes back as a fully grown man. Like, it sprouts as a literal fetus. Like, I'm like, what the? Yeah, and don't get me started on the visual effects in this movie. It was so egregious. If you are wanting to work in the visual effects department ever in your life, watch Superman 4 and take it as an idea of what not to do when you're working on visual effects. Like, it literally looked like you could tell it wasn't even remotely real. Like, the first Superman movie looked so much better than this movie, and it wasn't even close. Like, they literally made it look like a man could fly in the first Superman movie, but in this, they hired a knockoff visual effects company to do all the visual effects, and yeah. So it was just so. I pray that no one will ever watch it again, but unfortunately it is. And the worst part about it, it was Christopher Reeve's very last time playing Superman. Man, you just feel so bad for him. Next, coming into this list at number 6, we have Superman 3. Yeah. Well, it's not even a Superman movie. It's a Richard Pryor movie. Like, even Christopher Reeve said it didn't even turn out to be a Superman movie at the end of the day. It just turned out to be a Richard Pryor comedy. And basically, like, in this movie, like, Superman isn't really that much of a character in this movie when you really look at it. He doesn't do anything interesting. He has nothing major to overcome. I mean, there was that scene where Superman fought Clark, and where there's this banter between both of them. I'm sorry, guys, it just was not that good. Like, oh my god. And Richard Lester, who did Superman 2, directed this movie. Well, and he just failed in every aspect of this. Like, it's not Superman 4: The Quest for Suck bad, because that movie was horrendous. This movie right here is just horrible. But then again, horrible is like finding a rock and like a piece of manure. That's basically what this movie is at the end of the day, compared Superman 4: The Quest for Suck. Like Margot Kidder too. She was barely in the movie. The reason she was barely in this movie was because of how Richard Donner was treated with Superman 2, because they got rid of him, and it just made Margot Kidder very angry, and she held nothing back with how she felt about it. And yeah, guys, like, my God, how this movie even came together. Like, Christopher Reeve, like in the documentary, that came out about Christopher Reeve, I believe it was last year, if I'm not mistaken. In the movie, his ex-wife said that he was contractually obligated to do Superman 3, but his heart wasn't in it. And then it led to this was just a downfall afterwards for Christopher Reeve. Like, he ended up getting divorced, and then everything just went to crap for him. And like I said, usually in Superman 4, especially that came after this, and that just spiraled it even more. But it all began with Superman 3. And like basically the movie is just about AI and robots, and there's no substance to it whatsoever. Like, I don't really know what else to say about that. Like, coming into this list at number 5, we have Man of Steel. Now, listen, this one is interesting. When I first saw this movie when it came out, I didn't like it, because I grew up with like the Christopher Reeve, Brandon Routh type of Superman. This more fun, heroic Superman. Man of Steel with Henry Cavill, it was very dark. Like, it was a very grounded Superman movie. Probably will never see another Superman movie that's even remotely as grounded as that one. And like, it brought Superman to almost like a Dark Knight level style. Like, it wasn't a continuation of the Dark Knight, even though in a lot of ways it feels like a continuation, but it's not. It had the same aesthetic though, just with aliens and Superman. That's all it was. But like, this movie, I didn't like it when I first saw it. But over the years, it's really grown on me to the point where I really enjoy this movie, and I actually appreciate the movie. I really do. Henry Cavill is so underrated he's actually not underrated when you look at it. After this movie, and then like Batman v Superman and Justice League, we're not going to talk about those two movies for reasons. Ugh. But yeah, he really grew on me. He became my favorite Superman after Christopher Reeve. Eventually, he did. And this movie, like, I enjoy it a lot. Like, because I like the way the fight scenes, because it's very brutal, especially with Superman and Zod. That fight at the end where Superman was forced to kill, my mistake. He was forced to unlive General Zod, because Zod gave Superman a choice. You either unlive me, or you have to save them. You have to, and to save them, you cannot kill me. You cannot unlive me to do that. I'm sorry right there. I just had brain fog right there. Sorry about that. But yeah, I love that part of the movie. I really did. Now, there are some drags to this movie. What these drags are, when John Kent died, that entire scene was like, why are you letting your dad die like that? You are Superman. You have he didn't become Superman at that point, but he had those powers to where he could have saved his dad before he died from the tornado. He really could have. He could have done it without being seen. But John Kent, and they had it in that scene where he didn't want the world to know about his powers yet. He didn't want them to know about Clark's powers. But I'm sorry. They really could have. John Kent did not need to die that way. They could have literally had it be done any other way except that. But Zack Snyder made a choice that I vehemently disagree with, and it's the reason it's one. Even though I really enjoyed the movie, it's really grown on me. This is probably the main hurdle that keeps it down for me. It probably is. It just, I can't get behind the way John Kent died, guys. Like, there was no need for it. You literally could have done any other way. You literally could have done like the original Christopher Reeve Superman did, or something similar to it. If you don't have to do the exact same thing, but you could have just done something similar. That's all you had to do, for real. Yeah. But like I said, Henry Cavill, when you really look at it, Henry Cavill never got a fair shake as Superman because it was rocky from the start, and it had nothing to do with him because this movie, it wasn't very well received that well when it first came out. It's grown since then, but when it first came out, it was not that well received. So, yeah, it is what it is. Coming next into this list at number 4, we have Superman Returns. This is the most underrated Superman movie of all time. The most underrated. Brandon Routh really captured the spirit. He really managed to capture the spirit of what Christopher Reeve did. It was so fun. And I say this, and I will continue to say this. Brandon Routh has by far the best Superman costume ever, by far, because his suit is basically Christopher Reeve's suit, but modernized. It just is when you really look at it. Now, the only issues I have with it are maybe the red isn't bright enough, or the boots they look too weird, or maybe the S looks a little too small. But nonetheless, it's a great suit. I just love it. It's that is classic Superman, the one Superman that I love that I grew up loving as a kid. My dad took me to see this movie when it came out in 2006. I was 4 years old. It's one of the earliest childhood memories I have, and the movie itself is so fun. It really just is. Maybe the Lois Lane love story thing overshadowed some of the rest of the story, but I enjoyed it a whole lot, especially when you start to learn that Lois's son is actually Clark's son too. It's not the other guy's son, but he's actually Superman's kid, because you find out he has superpowers, and you find out that he reacted to kryptonite. So that's how we found out. It was really fun, guys. I just really love it. And Bryan Singer, who I'll mention in a second, he managed to recapture a lot of the Richard Donner spirit with this movie. He literally had the original John Williams theme song be played in this movie with the opening credits of this movie, and literally had the same font style as the original Richard Donner Superman movies did too. It was fun, guys. It really brought the spirit back. And we even got to see Marlon Brando. We saw some footage that was used in the first Superman movie be used here, and it was really cool, guys. I loved it. And speaking of Bryan Singer, I was on a show a couple days ago about Robert Meyer Burnett. Not sure if you guys know him, but he's a huge movie analyst. He reviews movies and TV shows and all that kind of stuff. And he had an open mic where he allowed anyone to come on the show, and just talk about movies and stuff. And I was one of the lucky people who got on, and we had a long conversation. And in this conversation, guess what happened, guys? And guess Bryan Singer called Robert Meyer Burnett right in the middle of the show. He really did. And we got to listen to Bryan Singer talk for a while about Superman and the original X-Men movies that Bryan Singer directed. Because the thing is, Robert Meyer Burnett has been friends with Bryan Singer for years. Robert Meyer Burnett worked on Superman Returns. He did. And it was so, and just listening to Robert Meyer Burnett talk about all his experiences on it, it was really cool. And Bryan Singer, and he liked that Superman Returns has gotten a lot more love since the nearly 20 years since it's been released. He really appreciates that. And Robert Meyer Burnett really appreciates it too. Like I said, they're both close friends from what Robert Meyer Burnett told me. Yeah, and and the thing is, one of the drawbacks that is a fair drawback is that Superman Returns is kind of a rehash of the first Superman movie, because it's a Lex Luthor scheme pretty much. We're basically trying to a land grab for the most part. Property grab is what it really was. And yes, but at least they've managed to use the kryptonite aspect of it, where Lex Luthor managed to steal kryptonite and basically create a Krypton. And Superman, at the end of the movie, he literally lifts it up and throws it into space. That was wild and crazy to see. It really, truly was. Now, we're not going to get into Kevin Spacey, who played Lex Luthor in that. I mean, we know the drama, so I'm not even going to touch on it with Kevin Spacey. But he still did give a great performance as Lex Luthor, I will say. And Brandon Routh, like I said, he is so good as Superman. He never got the love that he deserved, and frankly, really should have got from the beginning. Because Superman Returns came at a time where where comic book movies weren't nearly what they became. They just didn't, especially with how they became with the MCU. Like I said, that's just how it is. It's just how it is. So yeah. Now, this is another fair point with Superman Returns, where Superman doesn't have much fighting to do other than maybe at that plane scene. So I kind of get it. There are issues with it. There truly are. But I just love the movie so much. I really do. I grew up with this Superman, so this is what Superman really means to me. Now we are at number 3 on this list. We have Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. Now, we know there are 2 very different versions of this movie. The theatrical version and then the Richard Donner cut. I'm not counting the theatrical version. I'm only counting the Richard Donner cut, because that is the far superior movie, and that is the only version of the movie that exists to me. This is just my opinion, guys. That is it. Now, this movie, the reason there is 2 different cuts is because of what happened. Because Richard Donner, he filmed Superman 1 and 2 simultaneously. I think it's called crossboarding, if I'm not mistaken, and that's what it's called. And he was filming them both back to back. And to make sure they could get to release of Superman 1, they had to stop shooting Superman 2, and that movie was around 70-something% done. And about Superman 1, I believe, was around like 80 to 90% done, somewhere around that range. And they needed to make the release date for Superman 1. So fine. And I find it fun. I think I don't have any issue with that. But then the Salkinds, who owned the producer rights to Superman, they fired Richard Donner. The reason is because he went over budget. And look, I understand it. I do, but at the same time, there's no reason they should have pushed him out. They literally should have forced him. Hey, you cannot take this long no matter what. We are the bosses. We are making sure you are doing your job, and we are not going to let you just slack behind and waste our budget. Like, they should have done that. They really should have, but they didn't do that, from my understanding. And we ended up with a lesser film. A good film, in my opinion, but it was nowhere near as good as the first one, in my opinion. Now, this one was still, we'll get to that later, but this movie right here, the Richard Donner cut, was far superior in almost every way to the theatrical version of this movie. You literally could have had just this one scene. This one scene alone is better than the theatrical version of this movie. The scene when Clark gets his powers back. Oh my God, it's so freaking emotional when you have Marlon Brando, who Marlon Brando was not in the theatrical version because of financial reasons, because they didn't want to pay him that kind of money. And I don't think they wanted to give him a profit of the box office like he got off the first Superman movie. But nonetheless, Marlon Brando filmed all his scenes at the same time for Superman 1 and 2. And that scene with Marlon Brando and Christopher Reeve was emotional, where Superman realizes he made a mistake and he needs to get his powers back. And Marlon Brando, as Jor-El, gives him his powers back. And he literally says, the prophecy is fulfilled, the father becomes the son, and the son becomes the father. And when you see Marlon Brando just walk up as Jor-El, walk up to Clark, he puts his hand on his shoulder, and then you see this giant, it was just so, he put his hand on his shoulder, and then this scene with the music and the way it pined out was like, wow, it's so fun. It's so good and so emotional. And Zod. Zod in this movie is one of the best villains ever in comic book movie history. He just truly is. Like what Zod did is kind of set the standard for what comic book villains need to become. Where there's some that are just ruthless, aggressive, and will do no matter what, no matter what the repercussions are. they will do what they want to get what they want done. And yeah. And one of my favorite scenes in this movie was when Zod and the Kryptonians land on Mars, and basically like there was astronauts there, and then I forgot what her name is, but she literally took the patch, ripped the patch off that astronaut, and put it on her, and the astronaut just went flying into space, probably lost forever. So that's one of the most iconic scenes right there. And Gene Hackman too was he was great as Lex Luthor in this movie. He was. I really enjoyed him. Like, Gene Hackman is arguably, he's one of the best Lex Luthors we've ever had. I think, I really just loved how Gene Hackman played him. And like when they brought Richard Lester to come in to reshoot the movie, because for legal reasons, so Richard Lester could get the director credit of the movie, they had to reshoot it. He had to film at least 51% of the movie. But Gene Hackman refused to come back. He refused to, because of how Richard Donner was treated. Like, he and Margot Kidder got angry off of this. And like, Margot Kidder, I think, was there still. She did film some scenes. She did film scenes for the Lester version. But, yeah, it was just... Yeah, it's unfortunate that Richard Donner was let go. Because Superman could have... The franchise itself wouldn't have died out the way it did. It could have become something so special and something so great. Like, oh, man. Richard Donner just got him screwed over this. Like, it's so unfortunate. Like I said, who knows what Superman could have become eventually. He gained a lot of popularity because of this movie and also because of the first Superman movie. But then it just went downhill with Superman 3 and Superman 4, The Quest for Suck, where Superman faded out for a long time. Then we got the Batman movies, where the first two were good, but then we got Batman Forever, and then Batman and Robin. And the comic book movie genre was pretty much dead at that point until the first X-Men movie, which was directed by Bryan Singer, came out. So, yeah. But like I said, I just love this movie. It's not number one or number two. And I'll explain why I'll explain why in the next couple ratings. But yeah, I just love this movie so much, guys. You really should. Whenever I watch the original Superman movies, I only watch Superman 1, Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, and Superman Returns. That's my viewing for this. Next, guys, here at number 2, we have Superman 2025. The newest Superman movie that was just released this year. Released last week, actually. This movie is so much fun. It brings back the spirit of the Christopher Reeve Superman. Like, it's so fun, so emotional, and like there's just so much that happens in this movie. From David Cornsweet, who plays Superman. He is so good in this movie, to where the point, in my opinion, he's the second best Superman, only behind Christopher Reeve. Like, David Cornsweet passed Henry Cavill, in my opinion. He nailed the role in this movie. And Rachel Bronson as Lois Lane, she was phenomenal. She's the best Lois Lane since Margot Kidder. And the chemistry between David Cornsweet and Rachel Bronson was out of this world. It was so good. It felt like a true married couple when you look at it. I just absolutely loved it right there. And Nicholas Hoult, who plays Lex Luthor, I think he might be the best Lex Luthor we've ever had. I think he's probably better than Gene Hackman even. Like, he is ruthless, aggressive, and scary in this movie. Like, here's an example. Lex Luthor is usually an anti-hero. But in this movie, he is unredeemable. He cannot be an anti-hero. There is literally a scene where Superman is disabled because of kryptonite, and Lex Luthor has one of Superman's friends standing right outside the prison cell, and Lex puts a gun in the chamber, only one bullet, and fires, and nothing happens. And then because he wants Superman to reveal who he's working for and everything about his life. And then after that, he spun it again, and then fired, and this time it actually unlived the guy. Like, it was scary. Like, you get a real pop in the theater when that happens. You really do when that happens in the movie. It's so freaking shocking right there. Like, I think, like I said, and he is so scary in this movie, like I said. Then we get to like the side characters like Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, or Mr. Terrific, or Hawkgirl. I liked all of them. I really did, especially Guy Gardner and Mr. Terrific. I give Guy Gardner a slight edge of which one I like more, but it's so close. Guy Gardner is so funny in this movie. They make jokes about the classic haircut that he has, which is the same haircut he had in the comics. Like, I really liked the way Nathan Fillion played him. And then Mr. Terrific was so good. Like, he really is something. He's almost other than Superman, he's kind of the glue of the movie when you look at it. Well, maybe not the glue, maybe him and Crypto, but it was Mr. Terrific and Crypto that were kind of held the movie together in a lot of ways. That at the end of the day, because they were kind of the heart of the movie, especially Crypto. Like, Mr. Terrific literally was holding the universe, the alternate universe pocket open. He was trying to contain it so that it didn't spread, but it was just spreading so much that he wasn't able to contain it. And Hawkgirl, I really liked her. I believe her name's Isabella Merced, if I'm not mistaken. She was good. She was great. I mean, she didn't have a lot of lines in the movie, but what she did was actually interesting, especially at the end when she unlived that president, that corrupt president that was trying to invade that country, that small country, and like at the end when she's flying in the air holding him by his shirt, he says, "You can't unlive me. You're like Superman." And then Hawkgirl says, "I'm not like Superman." In that moment, she dropped him, and then he fell out of the sky and died. Like, it was something crazy when you look at it. I enjoyed it a whole lot. And Crypto is the best part about this movie. He really is. He was so much fun. I love seeing every scene from the opening scene when he appeared. I just absolutely fell in love with Crypto. I already did in the trailers and the TV spots for this movie, but I loved him even more in this movie. And the fact that the dog is based off James Gunn's actual dog, except he's just white and wears a cape and he has superpowers. Like, it was really good. And Crypto, at the end of the day, is he's Clark's motivation to defeat Lex Luthor, because Lex Luthor kidnapped Crypto. And yeah. And that scene where Superman says, "My dog, where is you took the dog," and Lex Luthor was just bull crapping right there. And yeah, and the twist of Jor-El was really interesting, guys. I liked it. It's kind of the same thing, but a little twist, where Jor-El is actually a villain. Where he sent Superman to Earth, but he didn't send him to protect Earth. He sent him to basically conquer Earth and take as many wives as possible, so that and have as many children as possible, so that his Kryptonian heritage will live on through his genetics. So that was something. That was a twist I did not expect to see, guys. I did not expect that one bit. And it makes sense in the context of this movie, because it was about Superman trying to learning that it's not his heritage from his biological parents he needs to worry about, that he needs to follow in. He follows in with his human parents' heritage. Because at the end of the movie he says, "That's what makes me human," and I loved it. I just did. In that scene at the end of the movie when Crypto basically was like messing up Lex Luthor, it's a lot similar to when Hulk smashed Loki, where Loki was saying, "I'm a god," then Hulk just grabs him and then starts smashing him everywhere. That's basically kind of what it was with Lex Luthor and Crypto right there. And Crypto just messed Lex Luthor up a whole bunch right there. It was really, really cool right there. It truly, truly was. And like I said, this movie brought the heart back to Superman. Like, I enjoyed Man of Steel, but I love this movie. to me is the second best Superman movie of all time. It's so special. It's so special right here. It is. And the John Williams theme song, the score from the original Superman movies. Yeah. I don't, it brought back so many memories. It just did. I loved it. Loved hearing it so much in the theaters. Bum, 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 bum. Like that. And you see a little bit of the Hans Zimmer score there too, mixed in with it. So James Gunn took inspiration from all forms of Superman and combined them into one. And he succeeded, in my opinion. He just did. Now, the only drawback, in my opinion, is that the side characters like Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, and Hawkgirl, they were there, but they could have done a little more. They really could have, in my opinion. And the Daily Planet guys, they could have done a little more too. They just weren't in the movie as much as I think they could have been. But at the end of the day, I think James Gunn was trying to start this universe off, and he needed to cut it down as short as possible to get to that point. Because first impressions are always important. And so, yeah. But like I said, it's a drawback. It's better than the Richard Donner cut because of the spirit of it. Like the Richard Donner cut, it's still not finished. It's still not a complete cut because there is some Richard Lester scenes because Richard Donner couldn't film all of the scenes he wanted to film in that movie. He just couldn't, and so a lot of those got left in. And also there was some effects that in that movie they could have looked a little better, but they still didn't. They still weren't as what it was. What it could have been. It really could. If they could have finished it, it probably could have been better than this movie. But and we actually if Richard Donner was able to make the full version of what he wanted to make, it probably could have been better than this movie. It could have, but unfortunately, it just because that didn't happen, it's not better. So yeah. Now, let's get to number one. The most important and obvious one on this list. Coming in onto this list at number one, you guys already know it. The original 1978 Superman. Superman the movie. This is what started it all for Superman. It's what made Superman Superman. Like Warner Brothers did not make a Superman movie before this, before they gave the rights to the Salkinds. Like, they owned the rights to it, but they could have made whenever they wanted to, but they didn't because it was worried that it would be campy like the original Adam West Batman series. But because the Salkinds were willing to make it themselves, they managed to make something. They allowed them. That's what allowed them to make it. And the Salkinds, they brought Richard Donner on, where Richard Donner took what the Salkinds had built with them in the script, and he improved on it. Like Superman before this movie, before the official version, would have been a little weird. It just would have been. And Richard Donner managed to ground Superman in he literally made it believe that you think a man could fly. Made it truly believable. And this movie is it's what started it all with Superman. From the first 5 minutes of the movie, where on Krypton with Marlon Brando as Jor-El, man, that is the way they were speaking, and every little detail with the crystals and all that kind of stuff was so good in this movie. Like it was almost godly, like Knights of the Round Table type of stuff of that opening scene on Krypton. And then, when Clark is on Earth, he's living with his human parents, John Kent and Martha Kent. It was emotional. It really was. I really enjoyed it. And then that scene where John Kent dies, and Superman says he has all of those powers, but he couldn't save his dad. Like his dad died. Superman has all these powers. But even with all those powers, he was not able to save his dad. That is what they should have done with Man of Steel, or something similar to it along the lines. Because that scene in Man of Steel I cannot get behind when John Kent dies. This is the best version of that in my opinion. And Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder, their chemistry in this movie was sensational. I absolutely love it. Like, I don't know how much better they could have gotten in this movie. Like, it was so fun watching, like remember that scene where that dude is about to rob Clark and Lois, and then Lois kicks the guy, and then he fires the gun, and then Clark catches it, and then moves down here, and then he runs away, and then Lois sees Clark on the ground holding the bullet in his hand. Like, that is the kind of stuff I like to see in a Superman movie. It's so fun. I love the movie so much. Christopher Reeve made it look like a man could fly. He made it believable. It was so good. And this is what started Christopher Reeves' career. It really did, because the Salkinds couldn't find whoever they wanted to be Superman, but Richard Donner kept pushing Christopher Reeve, and then the Salkinds just said, "All right, you can have him. You can have Christopher Reeve." And it's the best decision that ever happened with Superman, because Christopher Reeve is the best Superman, and I don't think that'll ever be topped. David Cornsweet is my second favorite, but I don't think he could ever be the best, because there's just something special about Christopher Reeve. There truly, truly is. And Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor was really cool. That schemy, he was so schemy in this movie. It was something really special right there. I love watching that movie so much. In that scene where Superman is confronting Lex, but then he tells Superman to look at this case and open it, and Superman opens it up, and then you see there's kryptonite in it, and he basically put the kryptonite around Superman and then threw him in the water, and Superman was about to drown until he was saved, I believe, and then she kissed Superman. Man, guys, it was so fun. And the score, the John Williams score in this movie, dun 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 dun, that score to me is the second best movie score of all time, only behind the Imperial March. But as a kid, I always kept singing the Superman theme song all the time. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. I always said that as a kid. I just love it so much. And as with it being an original, the stereotypical thing is you can't top an original, and I don't think you can top it. I don't think you can ever top this movie ever. I don't think any Superman movie will ever be able to top this one, because it's just so special and it's so nostalgia that I just love it so much. I can't get behind any other movie more than this one. Well, that's it for this list today, fellas. I hope you guys really like this video right here, because this is my second video that I recently posted. I haven't posted on Prestige Culture Dynamics in a long time, but I had a fun time doing it, and I plan to do many more videos that are like this in the future. I'm not going to get into specifics, but I do plan to make more videos going forward on this channel. And what do you guys think? What do you guys think of my list? Drop down in the comment section below and let me know what's your ranking. Do you agree with my rankings, or do you think I'm completely wrong, or do you think it's similar to mine, but it's just a slightly different? What do you guys think? I really would like to hear it in the comment section below. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out right here. If you guys like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to Prestige Culture Dynamics. And share this show with your friends so we can grow this channel even further. Alright guys, this was Ray Studios coming to you on Prestige Culture Dynamics. Catch you guys later. Peace!